King's Day. What is it? What is it all about? And where will it go? That's our focus this week. Well, No King's Day began in June of 2025. And if you remember, during that time, President Donald Trump had orchestrated a big military parade that also coincided with his birthday. So demonstrators wanted the president and others to know they did not like the way he was behaving. And they alleged that essentially he was behaving kind of like a king. He would do whatever he wanted. Didn't care about what Congress said about things. And if he had congressional approval, they would allege that doesn't follow the law or the Constitution. He used the office to carry out whatever idea he had at the time, and he would punish those who tried to oppose him. Maybe that was the beginning of all of this, the genesis of it, but it has expanded to all 50 states now, and it is about more than President Trump. So this week, we want to talk to one of the organizers who was responsible for No King's Day events where she lives in Southwest Iowa. Okay, so let's talk about No Kings.
Okay.
So you look at what you all put together Saturday, and you look at what else happened in our state and what else happened across the country. What does that signify to you?
It tells me that Iowans feel like they have a story to tell or that they want to be with other people. 60 events put on by all kinds of, not just indivisible groups, but all kinds of concerned citizens of this county or people who are politically active in other counties. It tells me that they want to be with people with similar views. We get so many people honking, and we should start counting the honks, because we also get people who maybe they don't want to come and stand on a corner with a sign, but they drive by and they honk and they wave and they yell thank you. And it tells me that people are they care about others in their communities. Iowans care. We want other people around us to do well and to have good lives. I want my neighbor without a passport to be able to vote. I want them to be able to walk up with their ID where, let's be honest, the auditor knows their name, and be able to cast their vote and not feel threatened by not being able to go. I want immigrants to feel welcome here. We need everybody. We need to all work together. And that's what this No Kings turnout in Iowa this time. 60 events is huge for a state like Iowa. That's big.
So some of the critics of this say that this is a bunch of lefties, bunch of Democrats, bunch of liberals who get together to complain about President Trump. Are they right?
No, we get together and we were like, what do we do to help people with this? Just this morning in my coffee group, we were having a discussion about where can you get your passport in rural Iowa? Where can people get their passport done if they want a passport for the first time because they're afraid of the SAVE Act? Where do they go when they need help voting or registering to vote? How do we explain that to people well? What are the deadlines for absentee ballots? The ACA, the tax credit being taken away, a lot of rural Iowans are self-employed. And so we got to do a lot of education on this is what happened. This is why your ACA, healthcare.gov, Obamacare, a lot of people don't realize those are all the same thing. But we have to educate people on this is why it's $1,000 more a month or $800 more a month now for you. This is why your health insurance is no longer affordable. And it's scary because, we value our farmers. We value our small town business owners, and we want them to do well. So that's a lot of what we talk about. Sure, we're hurt by things that ICE is doing, and we worry about ICE. Do we have to worry about our immigrant neighbors? Do we need to be there for them? Do we need to be ready to go to detention center and pick people up when they're released? We talk about all that stuff. It's a lot of problem solving.
But isn't Trump the impetus to all of this? I mean, isn't he the target of a lot of the signs that we see at No Kings rallies? I mean, isn't he the trigger of a lot of this discontent?
I think it's not just Trump, it's our legislators who are allowing it to happen. It's the fact that, like, my personal legislator, I wouldn't recognize him if I saw him on the street. He doesn't come. We hold empty chair town halls because we invite him, but he doesn't show, and he won't show whereas our previous Republican legislator always showed up. But they're scared now. And so it's not just Trump people are angry with or upset with. They're upset with the whole administration and everything that happens. And yes, a lot of the signs can be targeted at Trump, but that's just because he gives us too much ammunition. He's just funny. There's the orange and the obsession with tweeting on the toilet. And yeah, it just makes for fun. And we need fun. We had a few counter protesters at the Red Oak event on Saturday, and they just looked so unhappy. And we were listening to these inspiring speakers, and then we were out by the highway, and then we were back having some music from Hamilton, and people were dancing. And then their little group of four was just standing over there, kind of looking at us, and I felt sorry for them because it's a sad thing to support Trump.
Okay, we are reconnecting with you after a little internet outage. So, what do you say to people, whether it's those counter protesters or anybody else who says, look, this whole no kings thing is not even accurate? We don't have a king, we have a president. So, what are you talking about?
We're celebrating 250 years of no kings, and we are about a Congress, and we are about contacting our legislators, and we are about remembering that we have a constitution that is primary. And it's just reminding each other and reminding ourselves that it takes work to keep a democracy. And we're going to keep doing that work. We're going to keep standing up. We Iowans believe in a democracy, and we're going to keep showing up, and we're going to keep standing up for it.
I'm curious what you think about this because I've been to a number of these over the months, and there have been two different schools of thoughts on this, and I'm curious what you think. There are some people who think that having signs or somebody over a bullhorn saying F Trump or something to that degree is appropriate because people are mad, they're venting. There are other people who say that when you do that kind of stuff, you limit the potential of this from spreading to draw in more people. How do you look at it?
I look at it's kind of a combination. People have to they need to express themselves, and they also sometimes it's just something that draws somebody else in, and it's worth it. It makes it some of them just make us laugh. Um, so it's a combination of everything, and I'm okay with signs. I'm okay with whatever they want to say. I want to hear it. I want to listen like you're listening to us, and we appreciate it.
Other people have brought up, where does this go, right? Like maybe at the beginning of this is a way for people to vent, like-minded people, show that others are also not happy with the direction of the country and the actions and all that kind of stuff. But how do you build on this, and how do you reach people who have not been to a protest, or maybe the people who would never go to a protest? And are you winning over people to convince them that, hey, we need to do something differently? Or is it just getting a bunch of people who would not support Donald Trump to begin with, or politicians who support Donald Trump?
I think we're winning people over. We have more and more people, even in my small area, we have younger people stepping forward and saying, hey, I want to lead this. And we have had people, it's not the same people having to do it all the time, because people come and they're interested, and then they come to the next thing. We have candidate meet and greets. When the things were happening in Minnesota, and so many people had such heavy hearts for the pain of the immigrants and the communities in Minnesota, we had a chat and chew. Hey, impromptu, bring your own lunch. We're meeting at this location, and we all just got together in a meeting room, and we just talked about our feelings. People join our book club, and when they join our book club, we read a book. Our book club started in 2019 because we wanted to read the Mueller report. And we went on to read all kinds of books about politics and the Constitution and how to be an anti-racist and learning things. It's different people are attracted by different things. So some people only want to do voter registration drives. Some people want to call people and say, hey, get out and vote. Some people want to come to in-person events and get a little, I always call it kind of group therapy. Sometimes it just helps to talk and say, I'm hurting, I'm worried. My health insurance, how am I going to afford it? My child is married to an immigrant. What's going to happen? Stuff like that.
In the months ahead, perhaps we can find out what kind of staying power No King's Day movements have. Will it be more than just Democrats who weren't going to vote for Republicans this November? Anyway, will they have some kind of influence on policy? And will candidates start to push some of the things these people are talking about? Can we look back at some other previous movements here? Occupy Wall Street, remember them? They had focused on wealth inequality and all the money Wall Street was making. They did push things like the $15 minimum wage, which we never saw go into law on the federal level, but you did see different states talk about that issue. Also talked about student loan forgiveness. Joe Biden tried that. Didn't have a lot of success with what some of the supporters of the Occupy movement wanted. And then on the other side, we also saw the Tea Party movement, right? And some of the things they had pushed. Now, when it came to the federal debt, clearly they did not have success with that, as we've seen the federal debt keep going up. But perhaps some of the principles and priorities they talked about back then did sort of morph into the MAGA movement. That is Inside Iowa Politics for this week.